Good afternoon, you guys. It is November 9th. We have Jesus calling today. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Jesus calling, sit quietly with me. Letting all your fears and worries bubble up to the surface of your consciousness. There, in the light of my presence, the bubbles pop and disappear. Let me read that one more time. Letting all your fears and worries bubble up to the surface of your consciousness. There, in the light of my presence, the bubbles pop and disappear. How do we do this? Sitting quietly with God. However, some fears surface over and over again, especially fear of the future. That's a huge one. You tend to project yourself mentally into the next day, week, month, year, decade, and you visualize yourself coping badly in those times. God's saying, why do you always expect yourself to react poorly, right? To act bad? God created you to be good. God created you to be He knows that you're not going to be it because he gave us free will, but a perfect being, right? We are modeled after him. We are made in the image of God. Why do we expect ourselves to always fail, to always come up short? What you are seeing is a false image because it doesn't include me. See, when it's just us, it is automatically sad. It's automatically failing. It's automatically going to be like a lesser chance of success, right? But then when we have God with us, what you're seeing is a false image because it doesn't include me. When we have God in us, when we have God with us, then we can finally see clearly the future. We can see clearly of our own consciousness. We can see clearly the things that worry us, the things that trouble us, the things that don't sit right with us, right? We're able to be true with ourselves. And what does that mean? Being truly true with ourselves is being honest, being open and honest about the things that we are capable of and how we can only really be capable of all the great things that we have because of God. So just rudimentarily, like it's like a huge circle and it always just comes back to God, to including God in our life. Those gloomy times that you imagine will not come to pass, since my presence will be with you at all times. So no matter what future you foresee, no matter what failures you feel like lie ahead of you, no matter what hard times you have to cope with, know that you can never truly fail, you can never truly lose if you bring God into the situation. When a future-oriented worry assails you, capture it and disarm it by suffusing the light of my presence into the mental image. Say to yourself, Jesus will be with me then and there. With his help, I can cope. Then come home to the present moment where you can enjoy peace in my presence. So the moment that you start getting anxious, the moment that you start worrying, right? Just think to yourself, with Jesus, I can cope. With Jesus, I can get through it. With Jesus, there is no obstacle. There is no challenge. And it will bring you back. It'll bring you back to the present moment. It'll bring you back to the present peace. But you can only do that by being silent, by being still with God. All these things that God's talking about, that God's explaining, that we all experience are noise, right? How are we going to do this? How am I going to pay this? How am I going to be able to do this? It's all just noise in our head. And it's frustrating to God because he knows that none of it is true. It's a lie. It's false that we tell ourselves, right? But if we start telling ourselves the truth, right? How we were talking about earlier, if we start telling ourselves the absolute truth that Jesus will be with me then and there, with his help, I can cope, then we can do anything. Come to the present moment with God, guys. Let's see what scriptures God is talking about this from. Luke 12:22-25. Then Jesus said to his disciples, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, when you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. Life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no stratum or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable are you than birds? Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to this life? This is such an amazing quote. Luke 12:23-25. Are you not more important than birds? You never see birds worrying. They never stock up food. They never hoard. Every single day they go and God gives them exactly what they need. Are we not more important than birds? You're made in the image of God, guys. Be honest with yourselves. Be honest with how special and how deserving and how worth God's love you are, right? We didn't even do anything. We didn't have to work for it. But God's saying we're still worth it. We're still worth all the love that he gives us. Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the love of your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Guys, if you have a God that is willing to do anything to set you on the right path, to lead you and give you a good life, right? Then what do we have to worry about? Truly, what do we have to worry about? 2 Corinthians 10:5. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Any single time that you have a thought that goes against Christ, take that, ball it up and throw it at God and say, God, destroy this. God, I don't want this, right? And make it obedient to Christ. Twist it and find the God in it, because there's God in everything, guys. There's God in you, there's God in me, there's God in every situation we'll ever be in. That's November 9th. I hope you guys find the God in whatever you're going through. That is November 9th. I love you guys so much. And with that, I'll say amen.